How to refill your spirit when life drains you completely. The unseen battle for your soul and the path to restoration. I want you to imagine something. You wake up one day, and everything feels empty. Not in a dramatic, rock-bottom kind of way, but in the slow, creeping numbness that's been building for years. You go through the motions, work, obligations, endless scrolling, distractions. But inside, it's like your soul has been leaking energy, drop by drop, until you're running on fumes. Maybe you've tried fixing it before. A vacation, a new hobby, some self-help advice that promises instant clarity. But nothing really lasts. The exhaustion always finds a way back. And then, one day, you realize, it's not your body that's tired. It's your spirit. So here's the real question. How do you refill your spirit when life has drained you completely? If you're feeling this right now, you're not alone. In fact, this struggle is as old as time itself. Even Christ, in the wilderness, after 40 days of fasting, stood face to face with emptiness, hunger, and temptation. The battle wasn't just physical, it was spiritual. And what he showed us in that moment was the key to refilling our souls when we feel like we have nothing left. So let's walk this path together. Because you and I both know that life doesn't stop. The world doesn't pause to give you a break. But what if you could build a well so deep that no matter what storms hit, your spirit never runs dry again? The hidden drain, why your spirit feels empty. The first thing we need to understand is why you feel drained in the first place. It's easy to blame external factors, your job, your relationships, your circumstances. And while they play a role, the real drain is something much deeper. Think about this. We live in a world that constantly pulls at our attention. Our emotions, our desires, every notification, every comparison, every demand is like a tiny leak in your soul. It's not just exhaustion, it's spiritual erosion. Jesus put it like this: what does it profit a man to gain the whole world, but lose his own soul? Mark 8 verse 36. If you've been feeling empty, maybe, just maybe, you've been giving away too much of your spirit to things that don't refill it. So let's talk about how to close those leaks. The noise of the world versus the voice of God. Have you noticed how hard it is to just sit in silence? To be rather than to do? The world is loud, and it's designed to keep you distracted. But here's the thing, God doesn't shout. He whispers. Elijah, in his lowest moment, didn't hear God in the wind, the fire, or the earthquake. He heard him in a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19 verse 12. What if the reason you feel empty is because the world's noise has drowned out the only voice that can truly refill you? The illusion of control versus the power of surrender. Have you ever noticed how the more you try to control everything, the more exhausted you become? We chase security, stability, certainty, yet we end up more anxious than ever. Jesus taught something radical: come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11 verse 28. Real rest isn't about stopping work, it's about stopping the endless fight for control. The shallow wells versus the living water. The world offers 1,000 ways to numb your exhaustion: money, success, entertainment, approval. But have any of them actually given you peace? Jesus met a woman at a well who had been chasing fulfillment in relationships. He told her, "Whoever drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give will never thirst." John 4 verses 13 to 14. If you're feeling drained, maybe you've been drinking from the wrong well. Let me ask you something. What have you been running to for relief? And has it ever truly filled you? The path to restoration, how to refill your spirit. If your soul is running on empty, you don't need more distractions. You don't need another quick fix. What you need is to return to the source. So let's talk about how to actually refill your spirit in a way that lasts. Retreat to realign. Jesus often withdrew to lonely places to pray, Luke 5 verse 16. Not because he was avoiding people, but because even the Son of God needed time to refill. When was the last time you were truly alone with your thoughts, with God? No phone. No noise. No endless to-do list. Just you. Your breath. And the awareness that the Creator of the universe is with you. Try this. Take 10 minutes a day to sit in silence. No distractions. No agenda. Just listen. Refocus on what matters. We spend so much time worrying about what we don't have that we forget the gifts we've already been given. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good exercise, it's spiritual realignment. It's shifting your focus from what's missing to what's already present. Jesus broke the bread and gave thanks before feeding thousands, John 6 verse 11. Why? Because gratitude multiplies what you already have. Try this. Every morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. And don't just list them, feel them. Reconnect with love. Nothing drains the soul faster than isolation. And nothing refills it faster than genuine love. The enemy wants you to believe you're alone. That no one understands. That no one truly sees you. But Christ's entire mission was to reconnect us to love, to God and to each other. If you're feeling drained, ask yourself, who have I lost connection with that I need to reach out to? The hardest question. Now, I need you to be honest with yourself. What's the one thing in your life that's been draining you the most? Not the surface level answer. Not the easy excuse. The real answer. Is it a toxic mindset? A fear you haven't faced? A past hurt that still holds power over you? Because here's the truth. You can't refill your spirit if you're still leaking. The next step. This is just the beginning. You now understand why your spirit feels empty and how the world pulls you away from the true source of life. But in the next part, we're going even deeper. We're going to talk about the 3 spiritual laws of energy, how to protect, generate, and overflow with power. Because it's not enough to refill your spirit once, you need a system that keeps you full. So before we continue, ask yourself, if your spirit was completely full right now, what would your life look like? Would you live with more peace? More confidence? More love? Because that's exactly what we're going to unlock in the next part. The 3 spiritual laws of energy, how to protect, generate, and overflow with power. Let me ask you something. What if your spirit was never empty again? Not just temporarily filled, but overflowing. Imagine waking up every day with an unshakable sense of purpose, energy, and peace. Imagine walking through life's storms with the kind of deep confidence that no circumstance could break. That's not just wishful thinking. It's exactly what Christ promised when he said, "Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them." John 7 verse 38. Not a trickle. Not just enough to get by. Rivers. Overflow. Abundance. But here's the secret: this doesn't happen by accident. It follows a divine pattern, a set of spiritual laws that govern your energy. Just like gravity governs motion. If you don't know these laws, your spirit will always be vulnerable to exhaustion, burnout, and emptiness. But if you do, then no matter what life throws at you, no matter who betrays you, what challenges come, or how long the battle lasts, you'll stand strong. Because your power won't come from you alone. So let's break them down. Spiritual law number 1, protect your wellspring. The first law is this: whatever fills you, fuels you, whatever drains you, weakens you. Most people don't realize this. But spiritual energy is just like physical energy. If you keep pouring out without refilling, you will run dry. It's inevitable. And here's the scary part: most people don't even notice when they start running on empty. Think about it. Have you ever felt so drained that even the things you used to love don't bring you joy anymore? That's a sign. Jesus said something powerful. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. Matthew 6 verses 22 to 23. What does that mean? It means whatever you focus on determines what fills your spirit. If you constantly consume negativity, fear, anger, gossip, and distractions, you are feeding your soul poison, and you don't even realize it. It's time to protect your wellspring. Try this. Cut out the spirit drainers. What are the biggest sources of exhaustion in your life? Is it toxic people? Endless social media? Negative self-talk? Identify them and start cutting them out. Protect your peace like your life depends on it, because it does. Filter what enters your mind and heart. If you constantly listen to things that fill you with fear, anxiety, and hopelessness, guess what? You'll start feeling that way. But if you surround yourself with truth, encouragement, and wisdom, your spirit will reflect that instead. Replace the noise with something life-giving. Spend more time in scripture, in nature, in deep conversations that matter. Recognize the signs of spiritual depletion. If you find yourself snapping at people, feeling numb, or losing motivation, don't ignore it. Your spirit is telling you something. Listen. Now, ask yourself, what's one thing I need to start protecting my spirit from today? Spiritual law number 2, generate power through surrender. This one is a paradox, and it will change your life. True strength doesn't come from striving. It comes from surrender. Most of us live with an unconscious belief that we have to fight our way to peace. We think, if I just work harder, if I just fix this, if I just try more, Then I'll finally be okay. But Jesus taught something radically different. My grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. Think about that. His power is made perfect in weakness. What if the reason you feel so drained is because you've been trying to carry something you were never meant to carry alone? Surrender isn't about giving up, it's about handing over. It's about stopping the fight and letting God fill the spaces you've been trying to fill yourself. Try this. Ask yourself, what am I holding onto too tightly? Is it control? A grudge? Fear of the future? What if you released it right now? Practice daily release. Every morning, take 60 seconds to pray. God, I surrender today to you. Fill me where I am empty. Lead me where I cannot see. Strengthen me where I am weak. It doesn't have to be long. It just has to be real. Trust the process. Surrender doesn't mean life gets easy. It means you're no longer fighting alone. Now, let me ask you, what's one thing you need to surrender today? Spiritual law number 3, overflow through connection. Here's the ultimate secret. You are not meant to live on just enough. You are meant to overflow. Jesus didn't just say he would give you peace. He said, I have come that they may have life, and have it abundantly. John 10 verse 10. Abundant life isn't just about having what you need, it's about having so much that it spills over to those around you. Have you ever met someone whose presence alone lifted you up? Someone who, even in their own struggles, radiated peace, wisdom, and love? That's what happens when your spirit is full. You don't just survive, you become a source of light to others. But here's the key. You can't overflow alone. Try this. Reconnect with your source. You can't pour out what you don't have. Spend intentional time refilling with prayer, worship, gratitude, and deep rest. Reconnect with people who uplift you. Isolation is one of the enemy's greatest weapons. Find people who speak life into you and surround yourself with them. Be a light to someone else. The fastest way to refill your spirit? Give. Encourage someone. Love someone. Help someone. You will be amazed at how quickly your spirit is renewed when you step out of self-focus and into serving. Final question, are you ready to overflow? Now, let me challenge you with this. If you could wake up tomorrow with a spirit that is full, strong, and unshakable, what would your life look like? Would you live with more peace, more joy, more purpose? Because the truth is, that life is already available to you. You just have to take the first step. And in the next part, we're going even deeper. We're going to unlock the ultimate key to unbreakable peace, living in the flow of grace. Because once you understand grace, you will never be empty again. So before we continue, I need you to ask yourself, what's one thing you're going to do today to start refilling your spirit? The ultimate key to unbreakable peace, living in the flow of grace. Let me ask you something. What if peace wasn't something you had to chase, but something you could live in, every single day? Not the kind of peace that depends on circumstances. Not the temporary calm that comes from escaping your problems for a moment. I'm talking about a peace so deep, so unshakable, that no storm, no betrayal, no loss could take it away from you. Sounds impossible, right? But here's the truth. This is exactly what Christ offered. Not just survival, not just relief, but a new way to exist, one where your spirit is never running on empty again. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled. And do not be afraid. John 14 verse 27. Do you see it? The peace Jesus gives isn't something you fight for. It's something you receive. It's the flow of grace, the spiritual current that carries you through life, no matter what happens. So the final question is, how do you live in that flow? That's what we're unlocking right now. The hidden war against your peace. Before we talk about how to live in unbreakable peace, we have to address why most people never find it. Here's the hard truth. There is a constant war for your spirit. Every day, something is trying to rob you of peace. Fear, worry, comparison, regret. And the biggest weapon of all? Distraction. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you to keep you from peace. He just needs to keep you distracted. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to just be still? To just exist without reaching for your phone, your to-do list, your next goal? Why? Because the moment you slow down, the moment you sit in silence, something deeper starts calling you. It's the voice of God. But if you're too distracted, you'll never hear it. And if you never hear it, you'll keep searching for peace in all the wrong places. Let me ask you, what distractions have been stealing your peace? And what would happen if you silenced them, just for a moment? Step 1, learn to be still. This is going to sound simple, but it will change your life. Be still. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46 verse 10. Peace isn't about fixing everything around you. It's about learning to rest in the presence of the one who holds everything together. If you never slow down, you'll never experience that peace. So try this. Set a 5-minute timer. No phone. No noise. Just sit. Breathe. Listen. Let yourself just be. Practice trust in the silence. If anxious thoughts come, don't fight them. Instead, surrender them. Whisper, God, I give this to you. Feel the difference. Your mind will resist at first. But the more you do this, the more you'll realize peace isn't something you create. It's something you allow. Step 2, shift from scarcity to abundance. Most of us live in spiritual scarcity. We act like peace is something we have to hoard. Like love is something we have to earn. Like joy is a reward for when everything finally goes right. But that's a lie. Jesus didn't say, I'll give you peace when your life is perfect. He said, my grace is sufficient for you. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. Grace means you already have everything you need. So try this. Stop saying, "I'll be happy when I have more money, when I find love, when I finally achieve that goal." No. Peace doesn't come from then. It comes from now. Start saying, "I already have enough because He is enough." Say it out loud. I am already whole. I am already loved. I am already complete. Watch how that changes your spirit. Give without fear. If you believe in abundance, you won't be afraid to pour out. Encourage someone today. Love someone who doesn't deserve it. Watch how giving multiplies your peace. Step 3. Live in the flow of grace. This is the final and most important step. Most people try to control their own peace. They think, if I just do everything right, if I just protect myself enough, then I'll be okay. But here's what Jesus taught. Peace isn't something you manufacture. It's something you receive. Remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself, it must remain in the vine. John 15 verse 4. Imagine a river. It doesn't fight to flow. It just stays connected to its source. That's what grace is. That's what peace is. The moment you try to grasp it, control it, or earn it, it slips away. But the moment you surrender, it floods in. Try this. Pray this simple prayer every morning. God, I surrender. Fill me with your peace today. I trust you. Stay connected to the source. Read one verse every day. Just one. Meditate on it. Let it fill you. Let go of what you can't control. Make peace with the fact that some things are out of your hands. And that's okay, because they are in His. Final challenge, choose peace right now. If you made it this far, it means something in your spirit is awakening. You don't want to live on empty anymore. You don't want to chase peace, you want to live in it. And now you know how. But there's one last thing, you have to choose it. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not when things finally get better. Not when you feel ready. Now. Because peace isn't a reward. It's a decision. So what are you going to do today to step into the flow of grace? Take 5 seconds. Right now. Decide. And when you do, know this. You are not alone. The river is waiting. All you have to do is step in.